Boom! Hello and welcome to the Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Byron Rodgers. This podcast is dedicated to the executive protection practitioner, the private security professional. In this podcast, we're going to talk about the mental, emotional, psychological, physiological fitness that goes into being an efficient and effective executive protection agent. Whether you're in law enforcement, whether you're a mom that's looking at how to protect her children, or a father that's focused on how to protect his family, I believe this podcast has something for all of you. We might even get into some tales from the crypts of true Hollywood stories from time to time. I'm doing this podcast because I feel the reality of this job is simple. If you really want to be good at executive protection, it's more than just a job. It really is a lifestyle. And those of you who've been in the game for any serious amount of time, you already know what I'm saying is true. So if that sounds interesting to you, enjoy the show. Out. Boom! Hey, what's going on, guys? Byron Rodgers here for another episode of Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast. And today I have the honor of doing the episode with none the less but Pat McNamara himself here today.
Woo! All right. Glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, man. Geez, I saw, you've done so much out there online and just in the world, man. So I was like sitting here kind of, well, one, you caught my attention, especially once I started seeing these videos that you were putting out about being the detail of your own security detachment. Right. That stuff's awesome. You know, that stuff, I think, kind of just real quick before we kind of get into the scripted, the itinerary, but what prompted you to start shooting out those videos, man?
Well, I wrote a book a few years back called Sentinel. And the gist is how the average layman on the street can be the agent in charge of his own executive protection details. So you take what an EP does and you bring it down to a micro level format. So, you know, your wife, your kids become your PC, or your protectee, and your everyday car is your limo. Your home is your embassy. You know, it's your fortress. So you cannot replicate what an EP, what an executive protection detail does on a day-to-day basis, because there's just too much. But there's certain aspects of it that you can, make habitual in your everyday life, just to make you safer and your loved ones safer. And even if you don't have kids or family, you could apply the same rules to yourself and your community. Why not be a good steward of your community? Why not try to make people better people? So I co-host the podcast, University of Badassery, and the host of it said, "Hey, man, you should put out more on that, on the Sentinel thing." So I started generating the Sunday Sentinel sermons.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
They're just 30-second snippets, 30 seconds of life lessons, and and most of them are taken directly from my book, Sentinel.
Yeah.
But 30 seconds is palatable, and you could learn a lot in those 30 seconds if you're willing. So that's what started it all.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. And I because as I've been doing a lot of these interviews and talking to different folks, what I'm finding to be a common thread is, man, protection is organic to everyone. We all have things we want to protect, people we want to protect. It's an extremely important. It's like food, water, shelter. And then you got to be able to protect that trash. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like something that really, it binds us all together, and we may all have different functions. You know what I mean? Like when I was a Marine, I was in that function. But if you saw me in high school, saw me in junior high, you see me now, the one thing I've always been is a protector, really. And so I'm finding that a lot of the guys that are really good at what we do, is that there's like a protector essence that they've kind of had through life, and I want to, with this podcast, and it sounds like also with the stuff you're doing, that's awesome. I want to stir that up in our society with all the things that are happening, man,
Right. Yeah. The way I tell people that I want to make people better people, and I'd rather have assets than liabilities.
Heck yeah.
Nowadays, we are so connected that we are disconnected. So, you take Cooper's color code from, white to zombie mode and black to fighting for your life. So many people, whether they're walking around the street or driving their car, they're completely in the white now. They're on their phones. I look at people and I go, how in the hell can you expect you, father of 3 who just walked into the restaurant while you're on your cell phone and you're wearing freaking flip-flops and shorts?
Right.
What if something goes south, man? What if the shit hits the fan? How are you going to be able to protect them? You can't run through broken glass with those flip-flops on, and you have no sense of awareness. So we've kind of, it's a fact that we human beings, we're devolving over time.
Yeah. But
we don't have to escalate things, and the technology that we're using is forcing us to escalate our how we are devolving as a species, as a race, as humans. Yeah.
Like
that's one of the things I'm trying to get people to be more situationally aware. You don't have to be in the freaking orange. You could enjoy life. You know what I mean? You don't have to be paranoid. You're not really on executive protection detail. Those guys are in the orange all the time.
Yeah, we're kicking it in there.
Exhausting. You can't do that. But once you leave your fortress, you should be in the yellow. Just have fun, but just a sense of awareness of what's around you and who's around you and who may be an asset and who may be a liability, that kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. Sense of awareness, situational awareness, have a plan. I feel better once I sit down at a restaurant with my wife and I kind of can see stuff and I have a plan. I kind of know who's who in the zoo a little bit. Like for me, that's like I can relax more responsibly almost, I feel, and those little things that you're talking about that are organic for us are, I love that, man, because I love that you did that with those videos, because it's just the little things. It's a little bit of perspective. It's seeing things a little differently. It's maybe making a few different decisions with regards to what you put on this morning.
Exactly.
With
little stuff.
Mindset,
Yeah.
So and that we got some live events coming up this year where, I kind of had a crossroads where it's like, should I do this like for the executive protection practitioner, or should I put something together with a number of different survival skills and speakers designed to help civilians become better protectors? And that's what I'm aiming at, man. I really want to help civilians become better protectors, because that's the antibody. We had the bombs just went off in Sri Lanka, coordinated attack. As a protector, what can you do to stop it? And, I think the only real way to thwart something like that is a community of people that know to look for, and that maybe can see something like that. Well, a neighbor's been acting weird, carrying sketchy stuff in and out of his house, or they've been having weird meetings, and people with that mindset that you're talking about, I don't know. But yeah.
Well, and now with today's society too, we are afraid to thwart or to dissuade a possible bad scenario, because we don't want to hurt somebody's feelings.
Yeah, man. The PC.
But there's ways around it. If you see a guy, for instance, in the neighborhood, because this happened not too long ago, where a buddy of mine got robbed.
Oh, man.
And it was primarily kids, but they were smashing a door, going in and just looking for whatever's available to them. But those kids were seen in the neighborhood, and people driving didn't recognize them. And they didn't say anything to them. You want to hurt their feelings. But there's ways, you could roll down the window and say, hey, do you know where Poplar Street is? And if they go, no, well, you're on freaking Poplar Street. So,
right.
It can be very benign. You could, it could be extremely benign without hurting somebody's feelings, because you never know. They might be just happenstance. They might be looking for work or a friend of theirs or what have you. But the thing is, if you can't go against intuition. It's a gift we're born with, and we're too afraid nowadays to allow our intuition, our intuitiveness, to work on our behalf.
Yeah.
we're scared to death, man. We're going to hurt somebody's feelings.
And then be the bad guy, be the bad guy of the day.
Yeah.
No, that's good gouge, man. And yeah, interviewing folks, man. Hey, how you doing today? What's going on? What you up to? And if I get accused of it, I'm just genuine. I'm just like, hey, to be honest,
right.
I didn't know. I've never seen your car, and I just didn't know. So I just introduce myself and see how you're doing today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And see how they react.
Well, and because then too, if they are a predator, just like in the wild, does not want to be caught. They need easy prey. So now, if they are a predator, they had bad intentions, they're gone.
They're sketched out.
Yeah, they're busted just like that, So I don't know.
That's exactly right. It's good gouge, man. So moving into the question we always have to ask, and on any security detail you get there, everyone kind of sniffs each other's butts, right? And then they go into hey man, well, what's your background? So I like to let guys just tell their own backgrounds on here, just like as if we were on a detail.
Yep. Oh, you want me to tell mine?
Yeah, man. The way you would say it.
All right. So my tactical experience comes from I spent 22 years in the Army, and it was all special operations time. My entire career was special ops time. So I'm what they refer to as an SF baby. So I signed up for the Special Forces program at 17 years old and started the Special Forces course after, all the basic stuff on my 19th birthday. And then I was in a whole bunch of different special ops jobs, regular, Green Beret unit to some Cold War jobs where I was setting up networks for double agents in Berlin. And then I was spying on the Soviet Army in Soviet East Germany. And once the wall came down in reunification, I went to a selection for the unit in 91. And I spent 13 years there in USASOC and top tier unit on the planet. And then I retired in 05. And then, and during that 13 years too, I was very fortunate. Well, I say fortunate. I did a lot of executive protection while in the military. It's not fortunate because that job sucks. But it got me,
I was going to ask you what you thought.
But it got me into places where, I, as a military guy, did not have autonomy, parts of the world. And I protected some interesting people, from ambassadors to generals to, I got some good ones. Madeleine Albright. The King of Jordan. Hillary Clinton.
Priceless.
Well, I was with her. Remember when she was under sniper fire in Boston?
Yeah. It was a hot LZ. Oh,
yeah. That was me. That was me with her. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Probably one of the safest places on the planet at the time. Tuzla Air Base, Eagle Air Base, Tuzla. It was probably one of the safest places you could be on the planet. But so
that's awesome.
Done a bunch of it.
Yeah, man. Well, that's cool, man. That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's when I was looking at the questions, I was like, man, you've done so much. What am I going to kind of ask you about? So kind of digging deeper. Actually, I was going to ask you something about social dynamics. You were doing that spy work. And I think one of the best soft skills that a lot of guys overlook in executive protection is really the social dynamics of it all, because it's how you deal with people, whether it's your client, whether it's the person at the front desk or whatever. What would you say you learned about social dynamics and like dealing with people during that Cold War work? Because you had to be seemed like spy work. You were doing a lot of interacting with people.
It was, I tell you, when it comes to that, having the right deportment, the right demeanor, not everybody is cut out for it. Not everybody's a people person. You have to be the right person who's going to say the right thing to the right person at the right time. And not everybody's cut out for it. If you're a people person, it's pretty easy. I'm not saying that I'm some extrovert going to parties and crap like that. I'm not that guy at all. But the thing is, I am good at, gathering a read on somebody just with a very brief personal interview. And a personal interview isn't toxic or by the book. It's just, hey, how you doing? Where are you from? What do you do there? That kind of thing. you know, and you get to learn a lot if you know what to look for about a person just based on a few questions. So I learned a lot of that was, you know, drinking through a fire hose. I had to learn it OJT, you know, so it was all on the job training. But I had a lot of fun with that because it was something that I had a knack for, and I didn't know it. But some people have it and some people do not, man. Some people can't do that stuff at all, not one bit. And they might be an awesome person, super smart, but they just plain out suck at that.
That social dynamics is a different skill, man. It's a different comfort. You got to be able to be comfortable with, you know, the give and take. You got to be able to flow with things, and that's okay. No, that's a good one. That's something that I was curious about. So, who would you say you are at your core? Who's the man driving all this stuff, man? All the stuff you're doing nowadays. It's weird because I've developed into a different person. Not a different person. I have discovered that I am somebody who motivates people. I did not know that, you know, about myself. So I really, you know, the dynamic of social media made me this person. So it has become a job of mine, and it's a full-time job now, one that I don't get paid for, to motivate people, inspire, encourage, and to project positivity and maybe even moral and ethical dilemmas. You know, I help people with those things, and I don't know why. I tell my wife all the time, I don't know what I'm doing. I just have to keep on doing it. And so long as so long as I just keep doing what I'm doing, I'm somehow helping people out. Yeah, that's awesome stuff, man. Because, like, you know, I've done a lot in the personal development kind of space, and a lot I'm a double psych major, so I've always been really into the personal development stuff. And a lot of the tenets are find your purpose. Well, with me, I think I'm kind of in your world. I'm kind of like you, where like I got like a present purpose. Like I'm doing this podcast right now. You know, I just kind of know what I'm supposed to be doing with regards to my passion. And like this path kind of like appears right in front of me as I'm going. I totally dig what you're saying about, like, I don't know, you just kind of know what you're supposed to be doing, and you're going to do the heck out of it until your destiny shows up.
Yeah. And you know, don't pretend to be somebody else, and just do your own thing, and keep the message true and, you know, short, clear, concise. I'm just going to keep doing it.
Heck yeah, man. No, that's awesome. That's fantastic. I feel like guys like us are strong in order to help other people be strong. You know, like the stuff you've gone through, I feel like equipped you to be able to really like drive on and help other people.
Yep. I'm going to keep rocking it.
Heck yeah. So you said social media kind of got you on the page you're on with regards to encouraging people and stuff like that. So is there anything else about like kind of how you got into what you're doing, like what you're doing these days?
Well, I mean, I have a full-time job. So I teach shooting, fighting, close quarter battle, that kind of thing. And my presence in that industry has grown quite a bit in the past several years. You know, it started with a YouTube channel. Yeah. People went, oh man, that's cool. I want to train with this guy because I like what he's doing, and his message on tactics is very, it's to the point. There's no fluff behind it. There's no gizmos, gimmicks, or gadgets. You know, it's raw and it's true. So, I mean, that's what I do full time. Yeah. But my wife told me, hey man, you need to start with some social media. And this is when just maybe a year after we met. So I've only been a social media guy for about 5 years. About that.
Okay.
I actually, yeah. But it's grown quickly. You know, it's grown pretty quick, and that's without like assistance from outside. Yeah. Some people have teams to market an individual, to make an individual product. I'm just some dude, you know, doing stuff out of my house and on the range, on the road. I mean, I have no backup or no, executive assistant or proteges or interns, anything like that. It's just me doing it. And I like where it's going. Some people shy away to the whole social media thing, but the amount of information and the reach you have instantly is pretty gratifying, especially when you're putting out something good, because there's so much toxic out there. There's a lot of toxic crap, and people are sucked into that malignant messaging, to that shrill, vile messaging. And it's easy to be shrill. It doesn't take as much effort as it is to be positive. Being positive requires more effort. To be bleak and shrill and negative about crap requires less energy and less brain power. So don't be stupid.
No, it's so true, man, because the positivity, you got to protect it. You got to maintain it. You've got to have a perspective and an outlook that can cause you to extract that positivity from a number of circumstances, man. I've never made that association, but it is a higher form of character altogether. Yeah. That's what's up, man. No, that's true. Yep. What would you say, any quotes, mantras, sayings that you favor? You have like a life quote?
There's one I love, and I said it this morning because I was feeling tired this morning. So Jerry Rice in the 90s, NFL player, this one, man, if you wake up to this quote, dude, I will do today what others won't, so I could do tomorrow what others can't. Yeah. That's pretty badass. So a lot of pro athletes have really good mantras, like when you look at Muhammad Ali or Bruce Lee, guys like that, they have really freaking cool mantras, and they lived by that stuff, That's why they were, the best among a field of equals. There's a couple others. Coach Bear Bryant said that the will to win compares little to the will to train to win. I love that one too.
Yeah, because one kind of dictates the other. Really. Yeah. Yep.
Yep. There's a bunch of mantras that I love, and every once in a while I'll reread them and I go, "Oh man, that is so freaking good." I want it tattooed on me.
Yeah. Heck yeah. No, I'm right there with you, dude. And I tattooed half of them on me in Latin. I did it in Latin, so you can't, just in case I change my mind later.
Right.
But yeah, man, no, I'm all about that stuff. That's good. I'll do today. I'll do what others can't today or won't do today, so I can have.
Yep. I will do today what others won't, so I could do tomorrow what others can't.
And that's the secret to strength in life.
Dude, man, and I tell people, all the time when I'm training people, this is one of my, I have a bunch that I've made up too, but if you cloned yourself yesterday, can you kick your clone's ass tomorrow?
That's a good one. Yeah. Man.
Well, I mean, all we want to do, in life, whether you're, and that doesn't necessarily mean, become an MMA fighter. It means, are you better balanced? Do you have more wits about you?
Yeah.
Is your situational awareness better? Are you stronger, faster, quicker? It could be anything. Are you a pound lighter? That kind of thing. Little incremental improvements.
Yeah, man. I'm with Tony Robbins, dude. Progress equals happiness. And if you're making that progress, right? And you're looking at the old you, it's a good feeling.
Yeah, man. No, it is. And man, I got to tell you, I have, in the past 6 years, this is a lot of it I attribute to the woman I married 6 years ago, or I've been with her for 6 years.
Yeah.
Married her a couple of years after, but
that marriage piece is like a make or break for men.
Dude, because I was in a bad one for a long time, and there was no progress, so there was no happiness.
And that, I think a lot of vets hit that wall, man, real hard getting out. Yeah.
But I've made a lot of progress in the past 6 years. Mostly, it's not like my wife is assisting me step by step, but she's my biggest. She's a fan. She's my biggest fan. and she me better me, and I make her a better her. You know, we make each other better us's.
Yeah, that's powerful. And that's meaningful, man. And you kind of gotta have that battle. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you gotta have it, but I can tell you for me, it's been real crucial as well to have that battle buddy. Even if, because, you know, my wife's solid too. And even if it's just when I'm getting jammed up by life and getting punched in the face and I look back behind me and I know that she's back there counting on me to make a play and thinking deliver, you better believe it, man. Or I'm going to die that day.
Good stuff knowing somebody's got your six.
Yeah, man, 100%. What would you say to anyone who's looking to get into special units, man? Any advice to guys?
Well, the one thing I tell them is absolutely don't not do it. That double negative was on purpose.
Yeah.
Because you don't want 10 years from now to look back with regrets.
Yeah, man.
You know, so a road in, you know, in a special ops is not an easy road to travel. It's filled with bumps and obstacles and hard turns and you know, it's horrible. And there's a lot of luck involved too. You know, whether it's academic or health or, you know, injury, there's a lot of luck. You know, because it's a long and arduous road. It's arduous, but it is not Sisyphean. I love slipping shit in like that.
You gotta drop that. You gotta break that one down for your boy here, man.
Yeah.
Sisyphean.
But but I always tell them, most of the guys when they ask my advice, I tell them the fastest road in the military to like badassery is like airborne ranger. You know, because those guys are really freaking good. You know, as far as like an airborne infantryman goes, man, they have got the basics nugged out, and that's the foundation on which everything else sets. All those basics, you know, all that patrolling and land nav and gun work and room to room clearing and building clearing, and you know, those guys have that shit down, man. And it's probably the fastest road in any branch to badassery. Once again, it ain't easy though. You know, shit ain't easy. You can't just say, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to join the military and I'm going to be a badass. Yeah, you got to want it. You know, you got to want it. You got to want it. I mean, I could fill a book on how many times I failed, you know, in my career. But I don't want it.
Yeah. And then you're going to like go and get tested and find out how bad you actually want it. You know what I mean? Again and again. That's real stuff, man. Any specific takeaways from the unit?
From the unit? Man, there's so many. It's not even funny. I lived in a world of you know, in a world with giants where even though I was one of them, I did not feel like that. I felt like I was working my ass off to be mediocre. Man. Wow. Yeah. I mean, even though, you know, guys will tell me later, yeah, you were one of the top dudes there. I was like, dude, I didn't feel like it, man. I felt like my ass off just to be run of the mill, you know, just to be on top of mediocre, on top of average. Wow. There's so many takeaways. A good one too is that unit was not rank dependent. In other words, rank was almost immaterial. It's what you've done that matters. So the other thing about that unit is ideas were generated from bottom up, not from top down. Wow. You know, they allowed the individual to maintain an expeditionary mindset. You know, that creative thinking was encouraged and never squelched. Wow. Those are big, man. And that's stuff that can, you know, you could take that into corporate America to some degree and make a more productive entity out of a corporate job. Yeah. But you need the right people to do that. Exactly. You got to have those guys that can handle that. You can handle that much autonomy and responsibility and flexibility and all those things, you know. But that's good. That's good gouge, man. That's really good. If you're in the room full of people
and you are just striving to keep up, if you feel like you're striving to keep up, then you're probably in the right room. If you're in a room full of people and you're at the top and you're the most, whatever dude in the room, then you're probably in the wrong room.
That's what I tell people too. If you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Then you're wrong. Yeah, no, I dig it, man. You kind of mentioned what you think about what your experience with executive protection was. Would you say, in terms of being a protector, we talked about this, is it something that is, connected to a job or a function, or is it something that you just always have with you as a civilian?
Well, for me as a civilian, it's always something that I have with me. And the cool thing is too, is I have buy-in with my wife. For instance, the cars in the driveway are never below 3/4 of a tank. That's our limos. That's our mobile command center. We're trained, we're fit, we're healthy. We pay attention to who's in the neighborhood, who we pay attention when we're out and about, even though we like to go out, we like to enjoy ourselves, but we're never outside of our cognitive faculties while we're out and about. I like to drink beer, but the thing is, I won't get like drunk in public, for instance.
Man.
Because I don't want to be outside of my cognitive faculties, not just for me, but for my wife and for others. It's my responsibility to protect and serve, because any one of us can be a first responder at any time.
Right.
You never know, it could be a car wreck that happens on the street, or somebody has a heart attack or whatever it is. You got to be there for those people. If you have any kind of training, you got to be the first responder.
Yeah. And living a life with the responsibility of that, man, that's awesome. Kind of taking on the responsibility of, hey, you know what, if I'm there, it's a safer place. If I'm there.
And I tell people too that, like the sheeple.
Yeah, the sheeple, man. I mean, God bless them. God bless them all.
The sheeple will tell me that they don't want my help, but I'm going to help them anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there for them. The sheeple are like, I tell, like anti-gun people, like, I don't carry a gun for me. I carry it for you. They say, well, I don't need your protection. I said, that's right. You don't, but I'm going to protect you anyway.
Yep. And I hope you never do. I hope you never need my protection, but I'm going to be ready just in case. Yeah.
Yep.
No,
trust me, bro. I got you on this. I got you.
Right. No, I dig it, man. And I think that's ultimately one of the best things that we can do out here, man, is people taking more responsibility for their environment, taking more responsibility for their ability, taking more responsibility to be able to be strong enough to do the right things when those moments arise. Yep. You don't need the job of executive protection or security professional or Marine or Army or first responder in order to be that person who can make a difference. That's right. Like a human pride issue. I think that's like I'm here, so it's going to be a better environment kind of thing too.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say about, maintaining a warrior mindset? It seems like something you're real good at, kind of since you've been out.
Yeah. People ask me about that, they asked me about, what is it? What's the word? What's the wording? Mindset.
Warrior,
and I'm like, man, it's not something that you can just obtain from reading a book.
Yeah.
And it goes back to that. We all have it because we're all human beings.
Yeah.
We have a primal side that says, protect me, protect you, protect the tribe. We all have that. It's engraved into our hard drive. But I think it's not, they shouldn't be asking, how do I get a warrior mindset? Is why did I lose my warrior mindset?
Yeah, where is it at?
As a human, we should, at a primal level, have a warrior mindset. And I'm fortunate enough to where I go to bed at night and I think about attacking the next day. As my buddy CJ says, carpe diem, because you're almost out of DMs.
That's the truth. That's the truth. You never know, man. Heck yeah. So for you, it's just like, hey, psychologically gearing up to fight the good fight the next day. And that fight, yeah, you're not like whipping it on and slinging lead necessarily at an enemy, but the fight is relative to your life as a civilian and what someone's faced with.
Absolutely. 100%. It's just something that it's a way of life for me. It's habitual, it's just something that I and a lot of it's attitude, it's attitude, mindset and attitude go hand in hand. And my attitude says that I have to maintain, condition yellow when I'm out on the road. I have to train. I have to keep myself physically and mentally fit. It is the duty of those who aren't the sheeple to protect the sheeple.
Yeah, 100%. And I think also what I hear you saying is standards, man. Like when you're out there, you have your standards. These are my physical fitness standards. These are the standards that I got to perform at in all these levels. And this is what I got to do tomorrow. And as you maintain those standards, you can look in the mirror and be like, yo, I'm a warrior and I'm on the path. I always say to dudes like, look, when I look at you, I see your standards, man. I see your physical standards. I see your relational standards. And that, I agree, man. I think that maintaining that warrior mindset comes out in your actions every single day in the maintenance of those stinking standards.
Yeah. Yeah. And something else that just rang a bell. I think this is important too.
Yeah.
For way of life is do something every day to better your community or your society every day. Have purpose, have a meaning, don't be a leech on society because man, there's a lot of freaking leeches, but it's very gratifying at night. If I could reflect and say, I've helped out this many people today. And sometimes it's little, it's giving my freaking, my local derelict. There's a derelict in town and I feel bad for him. Tortured soul. He screams at the sky. But anytime I see him, I give him $5. And I tell him, go get an orange juice. And he'll go get an orange. I'll see him walking with a big gallon. Because he's not a drug addict, he's a tortured soul. But or the amount of people that I share correspondence with online, because I get a lot of correspondence from people, but I answer them back. And sometimes it's simple, just sending them a horns up or a thumbs up or whatever it is. Yeah. But it's very gratifying at the end of the day, knowing that not only you maybe help somebody, but man, you might change somebody's life just with a positive message. Yeah.
That stuff's huge, man. And I think nowadays we're like nothing's sacred anymore, and like respect and manners and honor and these things are kind of like just few and far between. People are starving for that. Like nowadays, if I look a man in the eyes and give him a nod or say hello, half of them don't know what to do. Half of them get scared and like look down and, the other half of them really appreciate that trash, because it's one of the most valuable feelings at the end of the day. It is. Money can't buy it. I'm doing an episode on EDC coming up. And so now that I got you here, what would you say would be good EDC considerations? Or are there any items that you suggest millions roll with and stuff like that?
Right. Well, one of them, you got to have, all right, handheld light. Got to have it. Now, because I know a lot of guys who they'll say, well, I have a gun mounted light. I say, but you need a handheld light, man. Yeah. You're not going to fucking gun out and help some old lady to her car at night. Got to have a handheld light. And then a lot of guys will carry a fixed blade. And I say, man, you got to have a utility knife too. You can't just have a fixed blade. You got to have something that you could like work with. Because you don't want to stick up your fighting blade. You don't want to pull that out and, and cut something with it because it's your fighting blade, bro, So those things to me are pretty big. And then I have an EDC package in my car too. Okay. In my EDC, in my everyday car, I have a package and it's backpack. So in my everyday car, I have a little backpack, and that's got stuff to help people out. It's got all the first aid crap in it. It's got water. It's got duct tape. It's got warm, cold. It's got leather gloves for hot, cold, sharp. It's got just tons of stuff like that. But with EDC, because people are thinking gun EDC. That's great.
Right.
Yep, it's great because I carry wherever I go. Yep. But just because you have a gun doesn't mean you're armed. So you got to get the software along with the hardware. Software is more important than the hardware anytime. People say, what's the best gun for EDC? I don't freaking care. Right. I'll make any one of them work because I got the freaking training. Anyone that I'm not printing on like an amateur, right. I don't care. What's the best EDC bolster? It's like, dude, man, whatever one fits you best. Whatever one you could punch somebody's mouth loose with, and you're not going to lose it. It's not going to fall out. But so another thing, along with software, that's another thing. You got to learn some basic fight because that should be a part of your EDC. The ability to fight, the ability to run, the ability to move your person over a certain point of period of distance expeditiously.
Yeah.
So those are items people don't consider, I think.
Yeah. No, 100%. I love that, man. Your physical fitness and your intelligence is part of your stinking EDC. Yes.
Yeah, massive, huge.
Because the tools, and I've heard another one of my buddies says, he's like, amateurs spend money on hardware, professionals spend money on software. Because the tools vary, man. The tools vary, but the tools' efficiency and proficiency is dependent on the software. So that's a solid approach to EDC. And I'm with you, man. I carry the handheld light everywhere because, old lady can't see your groceries. You're gonna brandish it out here, man. Yeah. Do you have any like an IFAC medical stuff? Any suggestions on that? Or
nothing I carry on me, but it's in my car.
Yeah.
In that backpack. I don't carry any. I have my EDC. The stuff that I wear on me is pretty basic. It's my handheld light, gun, extra mag in my back pocket. I have both a fixed blade and I have a utility knife. Mm-hmm. But that's about it because I've got, if I am in the proximity of my limo, everyday car.
Yep.
Then I've got that backpack and that's got everything in it. It's loaded down.
Heck yeah. That's how I roll too, man. I got all my stuff in my pack, like that secondary stuff, my medical stuff in my pack, and really the same stuff you mentioned on my person. So that's what's up. Heck yeah. What do you love about teaching, man? What's that about for you?
I love imparting a message that is palatable to the intended recipient. I like seeing the light switch come on, with the teaching thing too, not everybody's cut out for it, because, and I said this line before, you got to be the right person who's going to say the right thing to the right person at the right time. Mm-hmm. And when instructing, it's not really important to know what to say, but what not to say. You got to know when to keep your mouth shut. But I love there's a point in training where I look at a guy and I say to myself, that guy just discovered performance. And I've been teaching for a long, long time. And, I have realized that words are powerful icons, and the clarity by which something is defined will determine the effectiveness of its application. So I have studied teaching through mostly trial and error, but I've been doing it a long, long time, and I love it. I have a class every weekend.
Awesome. Where are your classes and all that stuff at, man? You plug it.
Well, all over the country right now. I'm travel weary. I've been traveling my freaking ass into the earth. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to stay closer to home. So the ones coming up are like driving distance, which is 8 hours for me. Driving distance is 8 hours. Beyond 8, I like to fly. but a lot of them in North and South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, that kind of thing, so it's more Southeast than anything else right now, just because I'm trying to stay closer to home.
I dig it. Good to go. You mentioned outcome-focused training versus performance-focused training. Yeah. I love that concept.
Yeah.
Down for us right quick.
Yeah, well, most of us like you and a lot of and me's guys, prior military guys, law enforcement, what all they knew when they were in was outcome-based training, which can be defined as execution with consideration of the consequence. Will I succeed or will I fail? How many, how much, how fast? It's basically adhering to some bullshit arbitrary standard that some dude wrote down and put in a book. So when we're training outcome, there's no room for growth, because we're just training for the outcome. I like to train guys, whether it's in shooting or fighting, how a professional athlete trains. And that's on performance. Task at hand. Where is my home and how can I make an incremental improvement to the structure of my home? It asks how well. And it allows an individual to be introspective, to exercise objective self-critique.
Yes.
You can't do that when you're working an outcome, You're just looking at the whiteboard and capitulating, being subservient to the whiteboard, basically,
Capitulating.
All right, that's what I do today, so I better just do that. And it's like CrossFit is a really good example of outcome-based training.
Yeah.
You look at the whiteboard and you do what the whiteboard says because, somebody wrote it down there, and that's how many reps you're doing. And that's execution with consideration of the consequence. Will I succeed or will I fail? How many, how much, how fast?
Okay.
And no room for growth. No room for growth there. So yeah, I hate it. I hate outcome-based training. Hate it.
What would be a good example of the performance-focused training?
Performance-based training. What I do, like in my courses, is I read the course of fire, and I demonstrate it. And then I say, go ahead, and now it's your turn. You are going to set the standard for yourself in this, because performance can be measured by doing what we can with what we have, and we all perform differently.
Okay.
So now I'm giving the guy permission to perform within his capability limit, and then I will coach the individual on how to make those incremental improvements. But it's not just up to me, it's up to the individual as well. He's got to want it. It requires a more mature audience. You can't, for instance, get a bunch of, basic training recruits in the Marine Corps or the Army and say, hey, we're going to work on performance-based training. They need outcome-based training.
Yeah.
They need to recruit. They need, hey, you're freaking doing it this way, this many, for this long, period.
To here.
Right. But as we mature, we need to discover where we live. We need to discover what our capability limits are. We need to discover where our point of diminishing return is also, because that's different for everybody. So those are a few examples of how to live in the performance-based training world.
Awesome. Love that, man. That's good stuff. Even anything down to even dry firing, that's just a good way to approach learning, teaching yourself, practicing anything. Mm-hmm. I dig it, man. But it requires introspection. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to be introspective. Yeah. And able to be harsh.
And you got to exercise what they call in the sports psychology world metacognition. Metacognition. Thinking about your own thinking, knowledge about your own knowledge.
Wow. Metacognition. Cognitive process, meta, internal. Sweet. That's good stuff. Yeah. What would you say about range theatrics these days? Any?
It's a thing I have to deal with a lot. Yeah, man. It's the thing is, there's always somebody ready to sell a gimmick, and there are always those willing to be on the receiving end to purchase that gimmick.
Believe it.
To go home with that and say, man, I like this gimmick. This makes sense to me.
Makes me feel good.
And it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's ridiculous. I'll ask guys. I say, hey, what are you doing there? And they'll tell me. I said, does it make sense to you? And they go, yeah. Well, I said, why does it make sense? Well, so-and-so taught me it, and he gave these reasons. I said, no. I know it makes sense to him. Does it make sense to you? I mean, think about this. When would you ever do that thing that you're doing right now? Give me an example. And then they go, holy crap, man. I can't think of an example. Huh. And it's all theater, bro. All freaking theater. You would never do that. You know, like the boom, 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 and the turning your head from left to right thing.
Yeah.
I say, let me ask you guys something. Would you ever go like this? Boom, boom, boom. And then holster your gun in a gunfight? You got to close on that guy now. You either killed him or you've wounded somebody. You got to close. You got to clear that gun from him. You got to call 911. You got to see if you got to render this guy aid.
Now.
I mean, you would never just turn your head from left to right and then put the gun in the holster. Ever. So there's a bunch of them, like that. But they cracked me up.
Yeah, man.
So they're not allowed on my range.
Oh, so you break every one of their habits. You're like, cut it out.
Oh yeah. I tell them they could do it when they leave. Yeah.
I dig that, man. So no range katas, no katas,
nope. No katas, no range katas, nope.
Yeah, man. I went to a course with Mike from Knockout Lights the other day, and we had this conversation, and he just was kind of like, look, man, and I talked to a couple guys about it, and it really just comes down to, in my opinion, like if there's no utility for it, if it's like an ego thing or you synced it and it looked cool one time kind of thing, you need to be able to articulate why you're doing that, especially if you're trying to take it into a life and death situation, at least, Yeah. So no, that's heck yeah. No, I wanted to touch on that for sure. Physical fitness, man. How do you stay in shape on the road? You're on the road all the time, and we're on the road all the time, So any pointers?
Yep. Well, it's not as easy. Another one of my mantras that I invented is hard work sucks and not everybody's cut out for it.
It's true.
I plan a workout at the beginning of the day for the end of the day. So as soon as I get to a range, I'm looking around. Can I do pull-ups? Can I do pull-ups on that piece of cover? Is there a log around here? Are there cinder blocks? Is there something heavy I could pick up and just carry? Because I don't want to leave the range and go to a gym, because it's very easy for me to leave the range, go, screw that, and go to my hotel and take a shower and with a beer in my hand. Right. So I'm going to do it right on the range before I even leave. I'm already nasty and sweaty, and I'm going to find shit right there on the range that I could use. And it could be, get a couple picnic tables close together so you could do dips. And then I could use that picnic table to do squat or thrusters with it, that kind of thing. There's stuff, man. The range is my gym. And I will invent some crazy ass shit, man, on the gym and get a pretty good freaking workout in. But it's hard work sucks and not everybody's cut out for it. I'm going to get that workout at the end of the freaking day, because I'm also going to keep Jerry Rice in mind. I will do today what others won't, so I can do tomorrow what others can't.
Heck yeah. That's awesome, man. So really the principle is plot on your workout, and use what you have around you.
You got to do that mental blueprint, early in the day, mental blueprint it. Whiteboard in your head. And a reminder that, hey, at the end of the day, you got to hit it, bro.
Yeah, end of the day.
Got to do it.
Or even before, the client wakes up, if you can get away with it, whatever's going down. Bring some bands, maybe. Get your ab roller, bring your trash with you on the road if you got to. But It's a creativity game, man. It really adds resources and using what you can find once you're on the road.
Right.
You said something about 4 reasons for exercise that I thought was ultra interesting, man. You want to break that down? 4 reasons for exercise.
Yeah, sure. Well, once again, we all perform differently. Performance can be measured by doing what we can with what we have, but we should all maintain, as the agent in charge of your own executive protection detail, some level of right? And if you think, okay, my job, let's say you're a dad and you got little kids and a wife. My job is not only provider, but it is protector of my flock. They are my flock. And I need to be the protector. And why should I exercise? For 4 reasons. Number 1, I want to be there for them. Self-preservation, longevity, right? Health. Yeah. Number 2, the ability to save my own life. Number 3, and more importantly, the ability to save their lives. Yeah. And number 4, kicking somebody's freaking ass. So 4 reasons. So, and you think about, those are valid reasons. If your focus on exercise is cosmetics, you ain't gonna get there. If you're thinking, man, I want a cool ass beach body. Number 1, you're not gonna have any of these things. No. Plus, that's a long road, man. That beach body. But the thing is, if you work out for these reasons, you're going to get the physique and have these things too, these intangibles, which is cool. You want these things.
Yeah. Those things are more valuable. Those things are more in terms of negotiation. Even on the negotiation table, all 4 of those things can keep the peace, can stop a fight. Because most of the guys who are on that level, they look at you and they kind of know, this will be expensive, maybe not tonight kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, real recognizes real, and I love the way you broke that down, because guys are in the gym for multiple different reasons, but I think it just adds a lot of gravity too to the reality of like the utility of physical fitness, man. And what we're really doing here, it's easy to get distracted these days. For sure. Yeah. This combat chassis principle, we're all, because I got people look at me and they're like, I wish I had this and that like you and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, look, man, we're all different. And you utilize your strengths and I utilize mine, man.
Yeah. So the combat chassis, number 1, if I tell a guy, let's say he isn't fit, right? Let's say he's 40 and he's kind of accepted mediocrity, and now he realizes, damn, man, I let myself go, bro. Yeah. I said, bro, you could refit the combat chassis. He'll look at me like, he'll go, what? So, number 1, it's subliminal manipulation. You mean I have a combat chassis? Yeah, man, you do. You have a combat chassis. It's a freaking 74 Pinto. But we could retrofit that. We could make it a 77 Impala, and then maybe even, an IROC Z. And then, we could build that thing up. we could retrofit the hell out of that combat chassis, We just need to, work on that suspension a little bit. Maybe we'll add some horsepower to the mill. Put some new freaking, it's the chassis that we're working on, not the tires and the wax. Not the cosmetics, but that suspension, the engine, the power plant, the computer, that it has in it, the processing information processing, all that stuff. So it's a neat way to help describe the performance-based training too. We all perform differently. Performance is measured by doing what we can with what we have. I can't run a marathon the way a 125-pound male from Kenya can, but he can't lift the same shit over his head that I can. And so, and then, there's guys who are overweight and in their 30s. But the thing is, they may have, and I see this a lot, because I'll have guys on the range who are maybe like late 30s, early 40s. And I do a lot of footwork on the range, and I'll go, bro, man, you have really good footwork. Were you an athlete? And they say, yeah, I played tennis in college, and I let myself go. I said, well, don't let yourself go, man, because not everybody's got footwork. Not everybody's got natural rhythm, Yeah. So, I mean, I said, look at those guys over there. They're super fit, and their footwork sucks, bro. It sucks. And they're fit, man. They got veins popping out and chesticles, and, they got deltoids and popping all over the place. Goodness, but their footwork sucks.
So, okay. So we're all different, and you got to use those differences. Exercise, make those differences better. I agree 100%, man. If you're a small dude, get that speed and endurance game up, and also you can make up for that by trying to lift. But I don't know how good it is to swim upstream sometimes. I feel like sometimes just execute on where you're strong,
Yep.
Real quick, your combat strength training, man, what would be like the ABCs of that? What makes that different from, like your normal strength training, what most people are doing in the gym?
Well, for several of the reasons that we mentioned, number one, it's performance-based. Number two, it's fight-centric, so it considers these things: self-preservation, longevity, saving your life, saving somebody else's life, kicking somebody's ass.
Heck yeah.
And then it works on a very wide skill set disparity because it recognizes that everybody's built different. So all those things, and the other thing is it's minimalistic. It doesn't require membership to a gym. You could do it with very, very few items. Sandbag, a couple resistance bands, maybe a couple dumbbells or a kettlebell. You don't need a bunch of freaking crap. You don't need a gym membership. You could do it out of your garage or off the back of your pickup truck. So there's a lot of differences, and the main focus is that self-preservation, longevity, stronger, longer. Motion is lotion.
Motion is lotion, baby. That's what's up. And when, I think it's also something that guys can do when they're on the road too, man. If you can find yourself a good, just clear spot to get after it and maybe bring some things with you. Now we're rolling into the legacy stuff. If you were going to say there was something unique about you, what would it be?
I think about me, only because people tell me this, is that I have a lot of interests. I'm hobby heavy.
Yeah.
I draw, I play music, I watch birds, I do photo, I ride a freaking unicycle, I tinker with my muscle car, I ride dirt bikes, I woodwork. I'm very hobby heavy, a lot of interests.
Yeah.
I want to do all of the things. What things? All of the things.
That's awesome. And what drives that is, why do you think you're so hobby heavy?
I'm not sure. I think some of us are more right lobe than others. So some of it, the right lobe of your brain is the poetic side, creative side.
Yeah. And
some of us rely on that more than the analytical side. Mm-hmm. So I'm very right lobed.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I like to create stuff. I do all kinds of stuff too. But I had a buddy talking the other day about some hobby he was ashamed of, and from watching your one of your other interviews, and I was like, bro, Pat Max following birds around the forest, dude. You're good. You're good. That's what's up, man. Heck yeah. What keeps you going these days, brother?
What keeps me going is that thing we were talking about, where I am motivating, inspiring, and encouraging people. So I get up and I go through some of my social, and I hear all these people telling me thank you, dude. Yeah. That means I got to do that again tomorrow.
Heck yeah!
And again the next day, and the next day. So they're thanking me, but I really have to thank them. Really.
Yeah.
It's give and take.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's getting that payback, not payback, but that positive feedback. It's like it's validating, It's that's awesome, man. I couldn't agree with you more, man. I feel like
motivated by those who I am motivating.
Yeah, like a positive force multiplier, dude. I dig it. What would you say there are any keys to longevity? Because you've been in the game for a while. You know what I'm saying? You're still out moving around. You got great energy, vigor, of a young man. What would you say with the keys?
Well, one is diet. That's massive, man. Shit in, shit out. You've got to freaking, especially as you get older, you've got to watch what you put inside of your body. So diet's massive, man. If I ate freaking crap, there's no way I can maintain like an energy and fitness level, and longevity. Another one is attitude, right? Going to bed with a clean conscience, thinking tomorrow I'm going to attack the day. Clean conscience, I think, is freaking huge. And the softest pillow is a clean conscience. And it's so good to go to bed knowing that you've lived the day well, and that you're going to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Another one key to longevity is man, I got a young wife.
That's what's up.
She's half my age. So, oh my God. So that right there, I'm like, dude, man, not because I want her to look at me and go, yup. Yeah. Not only is that mine, but I'm sleeping with that tonight. You know, I want her to always look at me like that. But there's a few of them right there. Not that everybody can go out and get a young, hot wife, but the thing is, you could eat well and you could go to bed ready to attack the day and go to bed with a clean conscience. Eating well too, a lot of freaking water, right? You got to hydrate. You got to stay fit. The fitness thing is massive. And when it comes to fitness, don't get freaking hurt working out. It's called fitness, not brokenness.
That's the truth. That's the truth. Yep. I'm with you. For grace of God, I haven't injured myself good yet, but and I hope I never will. But I'd be trying to stay in that like 80th percentile of my kind of strength and stuff like that a lot of times when I'm working out by myself for those reasons, because I do a lot of conventional lifting, and so far I haven't injured myself, you know.
Yep.
But yeah, man, those are great gouge, man. When you want your partner to look at you, you want them to be excited. Heck yeah, that's a driving force, man. Clean conscience is a soft pillow. Absolutely. There's like I feel like there's a strength and confidence you can walk through life with when you know you're maintaining your integrity that's in alignment with like what you respect and things like that. So like, yeah, no, that's awesome. What hard lessons in life would you want to help others stay away from? Kind of traps.
Bad relationship, stuff. Number one. Bad relationship. Too many, because I fell into you get smitten, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're young and you get smitten and you go, oh man, I'm marrying that. So stay away from that. Man, just be wary about red flags. And if they're red flags, then achieve separation and get the hell away, man. Don't freaking do it. You don't want to be locked into a bad relationship.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. This is all that I learned, and it's hard. With age comes wisdom. And, especially with guys, I didn't have wisdom when I was in my 20s and 30s. Mm-hmm. And lack of wisdom, what happens is a lot of times you say things that you regret. You don't give your thought a moment of pause. You speak without tact. And I did that a bunch, when I was younger. And then you have regrets. You go, man, I probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Because that it could have been a first impression. It could be a lasting impression. So that's another huge one. Another one is risk analysis. Most of that comes with wisdom too, age and wisdom. You do stupid shit when you're younger, you get banged up, and then it takes you forever to recover from it. Yeah. So there's a few of them right there. That's just a few.
Just a few. That's what's up. I dig it. How do you view making the ultimate sacrifice? What makes it worth it? What makes it worth it to give your life to something or someone for someone? How do you view that?
Well, I guess number one, you don't think about it. It's not something that is on the forefront. You're not saying to yourself, I am ready to die for this call. I guess because I don't think about it, I haven't thought about it.
It's just part of who you are.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, for instance, when I was in the military, you never think about it. You know that the possibility is there all the time.
Yeah.
Whether real world mission or even training, you don't even freaking think about it. But to protect my wife or any of my loved ones or kiddies, I will move heaven and earth to protect them, even if that means me going through a meat grinder. Yeah, I don't freaking care,
Yeah.
But I'm not going to risk injury, or I'm going to make sure that I am planning a strategy so I'm not a liability to them. I don't want to do something stupid and get myself killed when I could have helped them and still lived.
Yeah, I find usually with that question, it's just part of who we are. It's like something that we have either trained ourselves into. It's just part of, if you saw the right occasion, you would commit yourself. essentially. Kind of seems to be what I find. That's awesome, man. Is there a relationship to you? Is there a relationship between life and death that you think about or that you consider? You know, like for me, I think about, you know.
Something that I've never even thought about.
Okay.
I have no relationship with life and death.
What would you say about family and its importance in the role of a lifelong warrior or protector?
Well, for me, it's a way of life to be their protector. I'm not exactly sure where to go with that one because I don't really understand. I guess I really don't understand the question.
Yeah, like what role does family kind of play for you? Because some guys are kind of like lone wolf guys where they're like, man, it's just me out here.
Right.
Other guys are like, yo, my family's everything. You know, so what role does family? I am not that self-centered, man. I like my family, and I like knowing that I am a part of, you know, a community that's pretty freaking tight when it comes to even, you know, my parents who are distant. You know, distant in mileage, not distant from me, but you know, we don't live in the same geographical area. But I think I think that's important, man. You know, to be able to bond with your loved ones, your siblings, your kiddos, your spouse, and all that stuff. I think it's huge, man, and they should come first. You know, they're numero uno. Heck yeah. Good to go. And finally, what would you say is, what's it all for, man? If there was something that folks were going to remember you by, how would you want them to remember you? You know, what's it all for?
Helping change the world to be a better place. You know, it's so freaking corny and cliche. You know, I get that, but that starts with you know, one person at a time, and a positive message resonates, and a role model, that shit resonates with people, and it's contagious, just as is visceral and shrill is also contagious. You know, negativity breeds negativity, but positivity breeds positivity. So I want to be that person for as long as possible, you know, to make that, to have a positive influence on others, to make the world a better place, at the risk of sounding extremely freaking corny.
I think it's corny because it's true, and so many people have said it, you know what I mean? Because it's like, it's something that we all like climb the mountain of our ambitions, and then we get towards the top and we're like, you know what this is really all about? And we all arrive at kind of the same kind of place, kind of, you know? That's funny.
Yeah, and there's so many people out there that don't think that, you know, they suck. A lot of people just plain out suck. Yeah. And they're happy just raining negativity upon those who are easy targets.
Yeah, weaker. And
they suck, and you can't change them. So to hell with them.
Yeah, just keep moving. And then is there a ritual you'd like to leave everyone with that you think makes you a better person, and like a daily ritual that makes you better at what you do, or possibly makes you a better person, or anything like that in the course of the day?
Well, there's a couple. One, somebody asked me once, hey, what's your daily routine? And I say, routine is the playground of a dull mind.
Yes.
If you do this thing over and over and over every day. And the other thing is, if we have routine, we fall into a rut of complacent adaptation. You know, I like to be an opportunist as much as possible. Like for instance, I don't set my alarm clock for the same wake up time every day. I have an alarm clock set. Sometime I get up before it, sometime after it. I could hear it. It's in another room. And then I don't go through the day with a routine. I usually map it out the day before, and I'll put all my notes on a whiteboard. And then a big one, this is a big one for me, especially if you are somebody who, like me, owns their own business. You can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Because it's all about you. Mm-hmm. And dude, work needs to be freaking done because you got to get paid.
Yep.
Now, but I have another mantra that I live by, and I say every night is Saturday night, but every morning is Monday morning.
Heck yeah. That's what's up.
I go out for a couple hours almost every night. Awesome. And this is for a couple reasons. Number one, it gets me out of the house. So I'm not sitting in front of my computer, and I'm damn sure not going to sit in front of the TV. People ask me about, oh, have you seen this show or that show? I'm like,
never. I'm right there.
And then it gets me, around, people, because human beings, we are social creatures. And I'm not going out to make friends with anybody. I don't need that. But I still like to chew the fat with people and chit chat with the people I know from my pub and from the community. Yeah. And tip a beer with them.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
So there's a couple routines that aren't routine.
That's what's up. Cool. What's up next, man? What are you up to these days? Where can folks find you? Shameless plugs, all that stuff.
Well, I am on all over the interweb. I got a YouTube channel, Pat Mac YouTube. I'm on IG, and that's at TMAX Inc. TMACSINC. And then I've got my business site is tmaxinc.com, and I'm just working, man. Worky. That's all I do.
Heck yeah. What was it? Hard work is...
Hard work sucks, and not everybody's cut out for it.
That's what's up, man. Hey, it's been an honor having you on, Pat Mac. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Right on.
Brother. It's been a definite honor. God bless.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Until our paths cross again, brother. Talk
all right.
Out.
Rock and roll.
Boom. And to support this podcast, go to executiveprotectionlifestyle.com and contribute to our Patreon account. That Patreon account is what helps me make this podcast possible, contributing to this brand, what we're doing here, making it so that I can bring better guests on, making it so that we can plan more events and just expand the contribution to the private security industry, and also to making America a safer place by teaching people how to protect themselves and the mindset behind that, the lifestyle behind that. You guys are already killing it. $1 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, whatever you can do that you would probably just lose in the mattress anyway or spend on McDonald's. Hey, you want to put it towards something that's going to good use, put it towards a podcast, and get involved in our Patreon account at executiveprotectionlifestyle.com. And if you want to find me, that's ByronRogersMotivation.com. Do whatever you can, contribute whatever you can to that Patreon account, because it makes all of these things possible, ladies and gentlemen. So much love. Thank you, and thank you for making those contributions. You guys rock. We're already doing amazing there, and it's just because of you guys. So thanks once again for those contributions. Boom. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode of Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast. This whole entire thing actually just started off as a Facebook group that blew up and is one of the fastest growing, if not the fastest growing, executive protection Facebook group online. So if you haven't joined the Facebook group, join the Facebook group. Follow us on Instagram and check us out at executiveprotectionlifestyle.com. If you want to find me, that's ByronRogersMotivation.com, and I'm on all the social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook as well. So until the next podcast, y'all, stay sharp out there. And as I say it, one mind, many weapons. Talk soon. Out.